right now I am really excited to introduce Dr. Elaine Worzala over at the School of Business at the College of Charleston, and she's director of the Carter Real Estate Center. So, Dr. Worzala, are you with us this morning?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. So, I wanted to bring you on because one of the things that's really cool about Charleston specifically is the opportunity for somebody to get into real estate in so many different forms and fashions and have it be a really interesting environment, landscape, field, however you want to coin that phrase. But first, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about what the Carter Real Estate Center is.
Certainly. Good morning, and thanks again for having me on the show. I'm glad to hear you call real estate cool because I've spent 30 years teaching the topic, and I believe it's extremely cool. At the College of Charleston, we've created two avenues to be part of real estate. The first is we have a major in the commercial real estate finance arena, so you can literally get a business school major, a BS, and as part of that, you'll have a significant number of courses focused on this incredibly exciting asset called real estate. And as part of that, you'll be out in the Charleston market working with a lot of the real estate professionals, both in the commercial sector as well as the residential sector. So for any of you listeners out there that have students, children that are looking for a good major, this is the only one in the state like it, actually the only one in the country like it. So as you pointed out, Brian, the Charleston market is incredibly exciting and fun and full of real estate professionals. And as part of that, we actually have a real estate freshman class that you can take, and it's called The Wonderful World of Real Estate According to King Street. So students are out and about talking to professionals, working with professionals on the King Street corridor. And as those of you that are in Charleston know, it's one of the most exciting places in the country as far as real estate goes in terms of its transformation over the last 20 to 30 years. The second thing we have is, of course, the Carter Real Estate Center, and that group works directly with the students and the professionals in the community to again, provide educational resources to both of those constituents. So we put on programming and it's an additional set of resources for our real estate students to be part of the community.
Fantastic. When the Carter Center first launched, it was headed up by a guy named Tim Allen, and I was pretty active at the college. I was the preferred real estate agent at the School of Business, and so when they'd have incoming faculty and staff, I'd show them around town, get them used to just the Charleston area, and have it be kind of something that the College of Charleston offered in addition to just interviewing for the job. I was the person that helped them understand the benefits of living in Charleston. And so in meeting with Tim Allen, we created a group called Friends of the Carter Center. And so I remember being there from the beginning. I was actually the MC for probably 2 years for the first few events that we had. But really cool opportunity. Like you said, nothing really like it in the state or the country for that matter. So I know a lot of our listeners are, at the stage where they've got kids in high school. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with their lives. Real estate is a profession, is a career, is a passion that has afforded my family and I some incredible opportunities and experiences, and can't say enough good things about it. And so what I want to shift to right now, Elaine, is, just given your expertise and given the pulse that you have on the market and what you teach and what you know to look for, I'd really like to spend a few minutes diving into your opinion of the real estate market right now.
Well, as you know, there's not just one market. Lots of different markets, so it kind of depends on what part of the industry you're talking about and what kind of role you end up playing. If you begin to go, what most people understand and acknowledge in real estate is housing, because everybody lives in a house and needs housing. And the state of the market, particularly in Charleston, again, there's lots of micro markets all over. So you really have to dial down into, are you looking at high-end Mount Pleasant housing, or are you looking at workforce housing that's located downtown, or are you looking at some of the outer markets where people are basically drive till you qualify. So it really kind of depends on that subsector you're looking at.
Absolutely.
Clearly, the entry market is extremely difficult to get into, and it's what we would call as a very hot market. But as you move up the spectrum, and again, depends on exactly where that property is located and who the typical buyer is coming in, whether it's going to be a hot or a cold market. I know once the interest rates dropped about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I mean, it had an incredible pop on the market. We ourselves were looking to buy, to switch out of more expensive property and downsize, and all 5 of the properties we had been thinking about potentially looking into and potentially trading into were gone within 2 weeks. So, things can happen very quickly, and so trying to read the market is very difficult, which is why of course, I value real estate education and I value real estate professionals, because most of them are specialized and try to really help their clients make these very important and expensive decisions. Now, if you move into the commercial markets, which is where I spend most of my world and my life, I was a commercial real estate appraiser, and valuation is my specialty, valuation, feasibility, and market analysis. The commercial markets, again, depends on which sector you're looking at, depends on which part of the market you're in. If you're in retail and you're downtown on King Street, it's a completely different landscape than if you're out in Somerville in that marketplace. So probably the biggest key for understanding real estate is you have got to focus in on that market segment that you're analyzing, and only look at the comparables and only look at the data that's, not only look at, because macroeconomic factors play, but you really have to concentrate on that specific area and it might not just be an area, it's just a segment of the marketplace.
And so
you could have Class B apartments, but, they've got Class B apartments scattered all over the metro area. So, partially it's that one specific market that you're analyzing, but what's its competition? And if people are more than happy to live in one part and another part, you got to study both parts.
Absolutely. And so for those of you listening, Elaine and I, we're talking with Dr. Elaine Worzala, who's the director of the Carter Real Estate Center, which is inside the School of Business at the College of Charleston. And Elaine and I had been trying to connect for quite a while, and my wife broke her foot, so I had to deal with that, and just some obstacles came between us talking before the program. But when we finally connected yesterday, her opinion of the market, her approach to analyzing it, just her overall sentiment, very similar to mine, because I've been preaching on this program for years and years, and a decade or more in my business, about how local real estate is, how specific trends within our market are, depending upon the area and the price range that you're looking within. And so as we've been talking over the past, I've been talking about signs of a market shift for over a year and a half on this program. Even 2 years ago, summer 2 years ago, I was letting people know that, hey, when you get exposed to something for a prolonged period of time, that becomes your sense of normal. That becomes your reality. And what I tried to help people understand is that summer of 2017 is not normal. That is not a normal, typical market. And things will change at some point. We don't know when. And it's obvious that now, in multiple areas, multiple segments of the Charleston real estate market, things are starting to shift or have already shifted. In some instances, we're already back to a buyer's market. And it's interesting how quickly that happened. So, and I know you analyze the market in slightly different ways and through a slightly different lens, because it's mostly commercial focused. But those things tend to carry over. There's a lot of similarity between those two markets.
Absolutely, they're very, very similar, and it's the same fundamentals. It's it's Econ 101, supply and demand, but then also taking the fact that there are externalities that can impact, and if an externality comes in and it's a big negative one, you'll see markets crash. If it's a big positive one, like interest rate falling, you'll see markets shift the opposite direction. So and that's one of the reasons why real estate is such a risky asset, is because there's a lot of things that you do not have control over that can impact what you're doing, which is why you need to be aware of those risks, and you need to look at sensitivity analysis. You need to say, what if? And then you need to be prepared that if let's say you have an investment property on Isle of Palm, and what if those tenants don't show up that you're expecting to come and give you, $7,000 for the week for rent? Well, if that happens, you have to be able to weather that. And if you have over-leveraged yourself, i.e. had taken on way too much in debt, and you've just done a major rehab and spent a bunch of money, and you can't weather it, you could potentially lose it. So it is a risky asset to invest in. It's not easy to unload. Like you can sell a stock in 2 seconds, but you cannot get rid of a piece of real estate in 2 seconds. So,
yeah. Not very liquid. It's more like honey or molasses.
Yeah. And it's why I've spent 30 years and really feel strongly that real estate education is extremely important. If I had my way, every student at the College of Charleston would have a real estate class. I find it extremely important and yes, history is really important, and yes, lots of other things are important, but if I could get the Gen Ed committee to require a real estate class, that would be my last hurrah as a prof. But it's tough to do because a lot of people view it as, it's just buying and selling a house, and it's so much more. No matter what you're doing in real estate, no matter what you're doing every day, you're making minor real estate decisions.
Right. That and personal finance. You can get that one done too.
And real estate ties to personal finance, doesn't it? Because your personal finance is what are you spending to live, and what are you spending to invest in, and what are you spending to consume, and and all three of those can be real estate. Well,
Dr. Elaine, I really appreciate you coming on the program today.
I appreciate it. I thank you very much for letting me, and I'm glad to see the College of Charleston degree has served you so well, and I hope, as we talked yesterday, I hope we will have you more engaged at the college again.
I'm happy to do it.
Thank you for your original engagement, and we'll bring you back on.
Yeah, let's do it. I look forward to it. That'll be a lot of fun.
All right.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. 843-345-1273.